The Kaspa team has just made a huge announcement, and I think we have seen price follow kind of corresponding to the announcement and the magnitude of the announcement. We will be talking about this today because this is something that I have been talking about, or I have kind of been referring to over the past several months whenever I talk about Kaspa, and we're finally starting to see some of this stuff come to fruition. So we'll be talking about all of that, the announcements, the price, the price predictions, technical analysis, fundamental analysis, all that type of good stuff. So let's not waste any more time and let's go on ahead and we'll jump right in. As we can see right now in the crypto bubbles on the day, we can see Kaspa up about 8%, a pretty decent move recently, kind of off the back of what I'm suspecting is due to the news, but of course it could be due to anything. We never know exactly for sure, but it is kind of like, I would say in the upper echelons of the pack here, we could see about up 8%. There's only a select few that have kind of done better than what Kaspa has right now. So Kaspa definitely kind of leading the pack here in terms of moves, which is great. We have also seen them break above 10 cents, which is really good. So we'll be talking about that in a little bit more detail as well. Job not totally done here for Kaspa from a price perspective, and more importantly, a technical analysis perspective. But again, we will get into that, just stick around. Also, we can see from a market overview perspective, we've not gotten into the extreme greed, even though we are seeing the altcoin RSI heat map start to really creep up here. We're getting very, very close to overbought. We have not seen us get into extreme greed. And now usually extreme greed is the level at which you start to think like, maybe things need to cool off a little bit. We might be in store for a bit more of a pullback. Also, we can see on the liquidation map. Now, of course, this is just Bitcoin, but of course, Bitcoin does have the most liquidity. So this is going to be a large chunk of the volume moving through the market. We can see actually a favoring a move to the upside because there's more longs to be liquidated on the upside. So we'll have to see exactly what goes on here. Potentially there's a little bit of a liquidity sweep that happens off a move to the downside and then a move back to the upside. Hard to say for sure, but generally what I'm getting from this kind of market overview dashboard that we have here is that yes, things are looking hot, but things maybe not necessarily looking too hot, which is definitely good to see. If we look at the Kaspa chart, we have seen a really, really nice move from Kaspa so far. We'll go ahead and we'll kind of draw a couple of different things here. The biggest thing is we've got the lower low here, we've got the higher low here, and then we also have a higher high. And this is kind of where I say we really, really need to see something kind of like above this level, and we'll use a horizontal line to kind of get there, but we really need to see something kind of above this 13-cent range. So while it is a huge deal and it is a really awesome that we have broken above this 10-cent level, we do really need this to kind of come up and hopefully maybe stop out at the 14-cent, 15-cent, even if it's like 13.5 cents. We're still above and essentially putting in a higher high, giving us this kind of uptrend that we've been looking for. Now, we'll have to see, only time will tell, but we have seen obviously, some really strong price performance over the past several weeks. So we'll just have to see how it goes. Overall though, if we look past kind of this 13-cent range, we can see we start to have a couple other major levels at which we probably could look to for some price, both resistance and support. Of course, we're below it right now, so it will start out as resistance and hopefully we can turn it back to support. So you can see here kind of about the 14.8 cent range, 15.6 cents is going to be kind of the little squeezed zone that we have here. Then we'll also have probably something in this general range of about like the 17-cent range. And then you can see we really start to get into some wicks up at these like swing highs that we've seen. Got about like 17.1, 17.9 cents. And then we get up into these like really swing highs over here. So 18.9 to 19 cents, like that's going to be a big one. And then we've got kind of several different ones here. One at about 19.3, one at about like 19.8, and then we've got that one up here, the all-time high of 20.7 cents. So you can see kind of once we break above this 13-cent range, there are going to be several other levels that we could take out. I think a best case type of scenario would be we continue to move up, we continue to run, break through this level of resistance, maybe get stopped out by this level, and then we could come back, put in some support on this level of support, and then continue on our way back up, of course. Now, this would be the ideal outcome. We'll have to see exactly, not everything always goes according to plan, but I do think kind of a retrace that's much less dramatic than the one that we saw here. Now, of course, we did see a higher low, so it is still technically an uptrend, but I think something that's less of a punishing sell-off would, of course, be ideal, and it also would be, for those of us who are more impatient, that just less time as well, which I think would be good. So that's kind of what we're seeing here from the Kaspa chart from a technical perspective. Now, we will also go into some of the news that I think has moved some of these very short-term moves from Kaspa as well. If you are interested in trading Kaspa, before we move into that, we do have BTCC in the link in the description below, as well as BloFin, but BTCC is offering a 10% bonus on first-time deposits, as well as up to $10,055 in trading and deposit bonuses. So it's a really, really good deal if you are looking to trade Kaspa. I actually do have a Kaspa long open. Mine's actually on weeks, just because I don't get any of the sweet deposit bonuses, but yeah, really, really good so far. I think it's about like 400%. Maybe I'll show that in a future video. But yeah, we got in on Kaspa, I think down in this range, kind of the sevens, and we've seen a really nice move. So things looking really nice, kind of for the trading, the kind of the trading scene. But anyway, moving on, I want to take a look at the news coming here from the Kaspa team. This is coming from the Kaspa report. Again, not officially associated with Kaspa, but they are, a really reliable account that does usually kind of put stuff out, on behalf of the team and just kind of help circulate stuff. So what we can see here is Kaspa's next hard fork is expected to introduce the DagKnight protocol, full smart contract support via based zero knowledge rollups, and foundational support for MEV resistance and Oracle voting solutions. Each of these features on its own is revolutionary. Together, they resolve limitations in transactional efficiency, reduce economic frictions, curb intermediary value extraction, and for the first time in history, lay the groundwork for fully trustless marketplaces. Combining all of these advancements with Kaspa's highly decentralized proof-of-work network running at 10 blocks per second will be nothing short of extraordinarily disruptive to existing TradFi and DeFi systems. Are you ready to be part of the revolution? So obviously, a pretty interesting and bullish update here. The big thing that I've kind of mentioned several times when I've referred to Kaspa and spoken about Kaspa is a lot of what Kaspa is right now is primarily hype, and that's not a bad thing at all. What we're seeing here is Kaspa's kind of a tech demo, and it's still kind of in that tech demo phase. And again, not a bad thing, but that's just kind of the reality of what we're seeing from Kaspa. So the more things that they continue to deliver, 10 blocks per second kind of being the most recent one, is a really, really huge boon to the success of the Kaspa network overall, because they are actually starting to deliver on the things that they're promising. So with DagKnight, if we do start to see some of the smart contract integration and the zero knowledge rollups and the MEV resistance and all this type of stuff, that is mega bullish for this project and for this protocol, because right now they are kind of shipping themselves as like the better option. But they're a theoretical better option, right? They're not like an actual better option, at least quite yet. But I do think that with time, they have the ability to get there. People just need to see that, and they need to continue to ship and deliver, which of course they have been. It's just Kaspa is kind of trying to play that catch up from a technical perspective, or like a technological perspective. Because if you look at something like ETH, they kind of have all of this stuff already. Now, of course, it's not necessarily scalable, doesn't necessarily work super great, all that type of stuff, but at least it's there, right? And so I think that that's kind of the major thing that Kaspa is trying to kind of work against right now. I have confidence that the team will do it, and I have confidence that the project will be successful. It's just going to take time, and for those of us who are impatient, that of course might not be what we want to hear, but that's just kind of the reality of the situation. Now, the next thing that we have here is this is something coming from Mr. Kaspa. Now, Mr. Kaspa, of course, huge within the Kaspa community as well. He's saying WinCast smart contracts August 31st, and this is a retweet from Casplex. So really interesting. We'll have to see kind of when this, if this actually, kind of comes to fruition or not. We can see here, smart contracts on Cas via Casplex L2 will happen on the 31st of August. So, not technically coming natively to Kaspa, coming through Casplex and kind of doing this L2 situation that, frankly, I don't think is really needed at this point, but I guess that's how we're getting into smart contracts kind of, at this early level, as we just talked about, this kind of ghost night protocol is what would bring smart contracts natively into the Kaspa L1. So gonna have to wait a little longer to get it on the L1, but it does look like Kasplex is moving along via an L2 type of solution to do smart contracts there. So really interesting. We'll have to see kind of how this develops over time, if this is something that is kind of value accretive to the chain kind of holistically, or if this is something that we are probably not going to see a whole lot of movement from until we actually get that DagKnight implementation at some point in the future. So anyway, that's basically all we've got right now. I think right now Kaspa really riding high from some of this really great news that we have been seeing, and I think they're also, it's just a good market too. So Kaspa being a beneficiary there, but them kind of leading the market, so that is good news to see nevertheless there as well. So overall, if you did find the information in this video useful, of course a like and a subscribe does help, as well as you can click the notification bell if you are looking to stay up to date with all of the updates that are going on within the crypto market. Generally, I try to keep up to speed with everything that's happening, so you know kind of what is going on within the market. So if that you find that valuable, of course, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that type of good stuff. Also, if you have any comments, questions, anything like that, just drop those in the comment section below. I do try to read and respond to all of those. So if you have anything that you want me to see, that'd be a great way to do so. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.